Welcome to Unfunny America, where we're speaking with Alan Rozsnaki of Red Roz Music. Red, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Again.
I guess I should say again because we do know each other for we've known each other for a bit. What is it? Like 2 or 3 years? I met up with you at White Rabbit. Outside of work.
Yeah, work is like 4 years, brother. I've been doing this job for like 4 years. I'm pretty sure we met out there over at the
Yeah, I don't know how much you want to mention about that. I forgot to ask.
the old brag. It's okay. I mean, there's people that still to this day are like, I didn't know you were in the Army. I'm like, yeah, because I don't talk about it 24/7. I actually have hobbies.
You don't want to be you don't want to do podcasting for like some of these other vets are getting out doing podcasts?
Nah, dude. I mean, everybody's got their thing. Mine's music.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. What I really want to know is kind of what your journey is and what that journey's been like since you started doing it. How did you get started with music? Let's start there.
Ooh, probably going to disappoint some people. Church. So I was 15, maybe 14 at the time when I got interested. My grandma, her husband, second husband, had a couple guitars laying around the house. They had an organ and everything. And my brothers and I got 2 younger brothers. We get in trouble playing the organ and doing that. And then they had some older guitars there. I still have one of them. I still have the little amp I got too, but she ended up giving me some of them. And one of them was like a first act electric guitar or something that I still have downstairs. I refinished it when I worked for the luthier when I was living in Alabama at the time. So I was going to put a sparkly blue paint job on it, and the wood finish was so pretty. I just polyurethaned it, call it a day. So she's a display guitar. I don't play her.
So let's back up a second because I've never heard about that. You were actually a luthier?
No, I was a luthier's apprentice for almost a year.
Okay.
There was some politics with that job. Ended up leaving it, but it's a skill set that's carried with me for life. I don't want to get into that. But the skill set, it's kind of what I do for buddies too. I'm like, hey, let me check your guitar, give them a setup, make her play all pretty and like butter.
So you know how to set it up and like fix annotation and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I had know nothing about that.
The quickest, so when I was working at that shop, we did like repairs. We built them from scratch. I got hired because of the electronics. And then eventually we were just doing your routine maintenance too. So changing the strings if they wanted that. Hey, my guitar's not working. Did you change the battery? No. Okay, well, that'll be $40. Like, stuff like that, man. The simple troubleshooting stuff. Swapping pickups and that. But there was one dude, he brought in a guitar. I think it was a Flying V with the Floyd Rose. Changed strings, set up, intonated all within 30 minutes.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's a tough guitar, but you got some tricks.
So we're not here to talk about that journey.
I know. Well, I mean, it's fun. It's another little side thing.
Yeah, I'm the one that asked you to go down that rabbit hole. But that's actually a real cool story, man. How did you parlay that into first playing?
So I moved to Alabama, and I was learning how to play guitar a little bit in Ohio before we moved there. My dad, not military brat, but he's in corporate America. So we kind of moved around a little bit in my later childhood, I guess. But I got interested because our church band was pretty legit. Like, we had a stage, lights, backdrop, soundboard, everything. And I started actually playing electric on that little first act that's downstairs. But you're supposed to start with acoustic and go electric because electric teaches you some bad habits. And it's very forgiving. So that transition was interesting. But I was playing in the youth band for, I think, the 3 years I was there, doing live sound, running sound or video for church. And then moved back up to Ohio, but to a different spot. Continued it there in the big church band. And then
so you got called up to the big leagues.
Yeah, sure. Between like electric guitar, bass, rhythm, just whatever the need was, right? Sometimes finger picked acoustic.
So you went from playing just like a strip mall church into like a Righteous Gemstones mega church?
Not exactly, but it was a Southern Baptist church, so they like their music. It
Say no more.
yeah, I grew up Baptist. I don't go to church anymore, but that's also another topic, not for today. Maybe in a follow up.
Me too, and me too, on both accounts.
Out of respect,
Yeah.
and not wanting to get into politics and all that stuff.
So, how long was it before you started venturing away from playing with your church band to actually go out and start gigging?
So, I stopped playing at church when I was 20. So what was it like? I'm an infantry guy, so math is not my strong suit. I say that, but I think it was like 6 years total playing for church. And then I started trying to do the coffee shop thing, still in Ohio. And then I just joined the Army, dude. Like I had actually started my recording back then too, which is something I still dabble into today. But yeah, I started doing the coffee shop thing, and then I joined the Army and would not pick up the guitar for like 3 months at a time, dabble in it, put it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you want to talk about like today, or do you want to,
Well,
not today, but like what got me back into it?
yeah, sure.
Or
No, I mean, yeah, go ahead and
Okay.
talk about why you got back into it and how.
So I really, in life, I've had, I moved around a lot, had to find my way in a lot of new places, and music has been there for me. So I started going through a divorce, and in that divorce, I went to a local place that did open mics and started playing again. And again, music was there for me. It's kind of turned into a therapy in a way. So
What's the first musical memory that you have?
are we talking about recent, or are we talking about as a kid?
Just the first time you heard music and you were like, yeah, that's it. That's for me.
I grew up on Metallica, Megadeth, Maiden. That's on the dad's side. And the mom's side was more like your Poison, Journey, that kind of stuff. So I got the 80s metal from both sides, or 80s rock.
I'm surprised I didn't hear any Motley Crue in there.
There's some Crew. There's definitely some Crew. What was the Sirius channel, like Octane or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of those that we would put on like drives and stuff. Some Black Sabbath type. Ozzy once he split from all that.
So I have an experience with a little bit of that. Like my stepmom, she would roll up the windows in the minivan and then start playing some Boston whenever it came on
Yeah.
the radio. And suddenly I was just getting high, 10 years old, laying down in the van floor, like wondering why everything's starting to spin.
Mom, why is this van all hazy?
Why does this always happen when we're listening to 25 or 6 to 4?
Why are we still at this stop sign? Waiting for it to turn green?
I had a wholesome upbringing. Wholesome. But anyway, so you started playing, and how did you integrate the recording into it? Did you first start experimenting with recording on yourself, or was there a desire to improve how you sounded?
Ooh, so I was in like a little thrown together metal band with some of the dudes that were in the church band too.
Oh, like my story.
And so like we tended to be a little bit heavier because the drummer was on guitar, our lead guitarist in the band was also on lead guitar, and I was bass. So we started with Audacity, which was a free program, and we just kind of like dabbled in it, just tried doing like those little less than ideal recordings. It just sounded like noise, man. But I remember dabbling with that when I was like 17 or so, and then I got into, I'm an effect pedal nerd, or at least used to be. So I still have some of mine from back in the day, but I started with like 3 effect pedals, and a looper was one of those. And I was recording into an MP3 player, which kids might not even know what that is these days. Now we got Spotify, that's my thing. But yeah, recording an MP3 player and on the line in and just seeing what I could do with it. And then moved from Alabama to Ohio, and Ohio is when I downloaded my first like paid. It wasn't Acoustica Mixcraft. I think it was like Cakewalk or something like that.
Okay.
But then I started messing with effects and digital stuff, and that's when that really took off as far as like my interest peaked in it. And then Acoustica's Mixcraft was one I've used for years until I switched over to Reaper
Yeah.
in the past like 3 years or whatever.
Right on.
But yeah, it started off as like wanting to do my own stuff, and then I had some people that found out that I had some equipment and whatnot, so I brought them over to the house. Like, dude, literally started in my parents' basement in the bedroom.
Well, so did Minor Threat. So you're good. You're good.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so what kind of struggles have you experienced transferring your talents from stage to audio production? Like, what's that journey been like for you?
I never use the stuff I buy for myself. Always end up doing homie hookups. Like, yeah, man, I got the gear. I recently started doing some of the covers and stuff I do, and then I got sniped by the pollen season here in North Carolina. So
that's
I
awesome.
Already laid down the acoustic guitar and some other stuff. Went to go do vocals, and I woke up the next day and couldn't talk. And I had a gig in like 4 days, so I was like praying that I'd wake up in 4 days and have a voice, because I couldn't talk, let alone sing. Did all the tricks. Peppermint tea is a huge one of mine. Lemon, honey. And tried to be conservative for the next couple days. And then I got this other band coming, so they're getting priority. And
so what bands have you actually recorded here, and how many more do you have lined up?
Here, I've got one lined up. We're keeping it kind of quiet because they're a somewhat bigger local band.
A bigger church band?
Yeah, bigger church band. No, it's not a church band. They play the local area. I don't think I'd vibe with the church bands nowadays.
No way. No way.
No. But no, one of my buddies' bands actually got me back into being interested. They're Kill Card. They're a hardcore band from the area. Work buddy again. Did like a live demo, and then they're playing shows around it. They got a show coming up in maybe a month here in Fayetteville, so I'm gonna go to that. Like, I'm a huge metalhead.
Right on.
Like, I play soft acoustic stuff, lovey-dovey stuff, for like my own personal gigs, but metalhead at heart. So going to a hardcore show or heavy music.
Going back to the beginning of the interview, you said that your dad was part of corporate America, moving around from place to place to place. What role did music have for you then?
So, lyric writing has never been my strong suit, but writing music has. So, I don't want to unpack it too much, but men in society don't really have an outlet at times. What is generally acceptable is anger and taking it out on people around you. Music is a way to not do that and still deal with things that you're thinking and going through, right?
That's a cool outlook, man.
So you can translate stuff on the inside to outside without looking weak or taking it out on people looking strong with your anger. So it's kind of like that bridge between still dealing with your emotions, but maybe not necessarily talking about it with people if you don't want to. So for moving around, I struggle with that sometimes, because it's like as soon as you got to a place and started to like fit in, it was time to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That was more like my later childhood in a way. So like, I was 15, just went through freshman year of high school, and then we moved to Alabama, finished up high school in Alabama. As soon as I finished that, already kind of had roots starting to plant with music stuff. And then it was time to move back up to Ohio again, but to a different spot. And then 3 years after that, I joined the Army, and you know how that goes. Like every 2 to 3 years, you're moving somewhere, meeting new people. So
Whereabouts in Ohio? Anywhere near
geez.
Malta, Ohio?
I have no clue where Malta is. Malta, Ohio?
It's from a previous interview. Somebody mentioned it.
Geez.
Yeah, Dennis V mentioned it.
No, I grew up till about like when I was 15. I grew up in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park area, so I was kind of spoiled growing up there. Lots of beautiful outdoorsy stuff. Akron, Canton, Cleveland is the bigger area, so I like Northeast Ohio, and moved to roughly Montgomery, Alabama. So huge change for a Midwest boy. Culture shock is a thing, especially in high school. But I mean, got along pretty well with everybody, and then moved to the Dayton area, where my folks are now.
Right on.
But
So, man, I forgot what question I was going to ask.
you're good,
It
brother.
seems like once every episode there's this
All over the
quiet.
place.
Yeah. Well, no. So what is it? What influences your music? Like, how much would you say is emotionally driven versus the sounds that you grew up with?
So again, I learned how to play on an electric guitar. Huge metalhead. The first song I remember learning is One. Isn't
Yeah.
exactly metal, but One. I like playing the intro to Fade to Black, both the little acoustic riff and then that solo.
So lots of early Metallica.
Yep, and then power chords, brother. Power chords, just like chugga chuggas and stuff, because I was rhythm guitar. I love good chugga chuggas, man. Like you'll win me over with a heavier rhythm than you will with a good solo. I don't know why. It just like gives you that stank lip, and you're
Yeah.
like, hell yeah. But no. So I definitely have that kind of playing style when I play my acoustic. I break picks if they're too thin. I've recently experimented with different picks too, just to see if, and I went back to the ones I've been playing with since I was 15 years old or whatever, when I was experimenting with some acoustic. So like I still play Snarling Dog brain picks. Couldn't find them for a while, but still the same thickness, same everything. It just blends it perfectly.
I never would have thought a pick would do so much.
It's like your tires on a car, man. That's literally where the rubber meets the road. So it's going to give you a different sound based on how that pick is contacting the strings.
Yeah.
Honestly. So like a thinner pick blends a lot better, but the thinner pick is also going to be a lot harder to control if you're trying to do like individual notes and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I do a little bit of both. So I do a little bit of riffs combined with the chords. I do what some people call embellishments, where hammer-ons, pull-offs. Try to create a melody and a rhythm within the chord, not just the right hand strumming hand. Thicker picks sound too harsh, right? Certain strings come through more than others, and it doesn't blend as well, but you have better control. So I play something in between. And then the material it's made of, like they have these celluloid picks, right? I've been experimenting too, because I made some throwaway picks, because I just give out free stuff at the gigs, like stickers, throwaway picks. Tried playing with those. They sounded horrible because they were way too thick. Then I went and got the thickness I like playing with for like the blend, and I broke it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to stick with my nylons, man. So
That's funny.
It's been fun. Like you just keep going back to center, back to the roots.
Yeah.
And then how it influences, so that's how it influences guitar, is like the control I have over it and the stuff I like to play. Also being a metalhead, my guitars are all tuned to C. So C standard, that's 4 frets down from a normal guitar. A normal guitar is tuned to E standard.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives a lot more bass, sometimes a little bit more resonance, like it just carries better. And then the Gibson I play, J45 classic, right? Classic Gibson, but it's a custom because it's got rosewood back and sides too, so the spruce top gives it the brightness
Yeah.
to help that cut through. The rosewood gives it the mids and the bass too, to give it that deep warmth to it too.
You're entering into a realm of guitars I know nothing about.
Yeah, your eyes are glazing over, brother.
No. No, I like hearing about this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all
It's-
different types of woods, like they have
Tone
different
woods,
sounds. Yeah.
And with the voice, again, like I started playing at a local bar down the road, and one of the first songs I started playing in front of people was Nutshell by Alice in Chains.
Okay.
So grunge, I grew up kind of in that.